Once you wake up in the morning, by the way, what does Diana do with Clovis for the rest of that day? Just kind of hang out? Follow
They
around?
make out.
There is something I want to ask him about, but I feel like I should do this after this whole thing. Now that, after Diana has chilled out, because she's currently in a state of kind of stress.
Panic.
So I'm just going to say they hang out for the day.
Okay.
Oh, actually, real quick, before bed, Faye will use sending one last time because okay, so when I look at the spell, it says 3 rounds, but I'm assuming it's just like
that's like if you're in combat.
Yeah, it doesn't tell you specifically like how long I have to wait or anything like that. So I'm just assuming I can use it like with my, I think it's a third spell. I can use it twice, so I can use it one last time before bed, and I'm just going to send another message to Diana saying that we'll be there tomorrow. Relax, we got your note. Relax, we'll be there tomorrow, and we'll talk about this.
Okay.
Okay. So what's happening at the time this?
You would probably be sharing a meal with Clovis and Griselda and the.
Wow! Thanks for calling in the middle of dinner, Faye.
Oh, it's just a message. It's not really a call.
Yeah. So I guess she does that same thing, where she just kind of like stares into distance for a bit. And she's like, "Oh, thank God."
Clovis looks up with like a mouthful of pork belly. He's like,
They're dropping by tomorrow.
And he nods, and Griselda sort of dabs at her mouth with her napkin. She says, "Well, I'll have to make preparations for them to stay." So, what did Gunther want to do? You right? Okay. Yep. Okay. Yep. Yeah, no, that's fine. Like a one-way thing. Yep. Okay. So roll your knowledge runes. See if you can embroider this thing nice and good. Yep. Okay. So yeah, you realize that it'll take you a while to write the right sequence of runes, like with the runes that you need to put in to make this effect work. But after a couple of nights of doing this, you can probably pull it off. So you're probably about halfway there. So the next day, you guys get up bright and early and get ready. And by the time you're all prepared to go, Pip is there at the door in his winter gear, and he looks pretty toasty. He's got some pretty hefty winter gear, like he's got furs on and all that kind of stuff.
Is he like the kid from like A Christmas Story?
It's not like he's wearing like 60 layers and he's just like all outstretched. Like, I cannot put down the arms.
That's what I thought.
No,
like fucking T-posing like it's that many layers.
Yeah, no, he's wearing kind of like it's sort of leather armor, but it's got like kind of animal fur, like fox pelt, that kind of stuff in it to make it a little more insulated and warm. But he's pretty much ready to go. He's got a little short sword by his side. I believe the one that Faye gave him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lazara just like. I was like, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just commenting. Go ahead.
Okay. She's Lazara looks him up and down and says, "You realize we're not going to fight the prince, right?"
And he says, "Oh, I know. It's just, you never know." And he says it as though, like, he has deep wisdom on the.
Faye, you can hear just like this audible, like face palm from Faye.
From behind the party, just this smack.
Yeah, like.
So you guys pack up your things and head to the SSO guild. Once you arrive, Nessie's there. Like, she has like a whole stack of books that she's like trying to put away in the right place, that she's carrying around with her. And you can see she's being followed by her blue dragonborn.
He's going to drive her nuts. Holy shit.
And you guys go to use the teleportation circle. Are you asking anyone to use it for you, or are you just activating it?
Lazara just activated herself.
Okay.
Just doesn't even acknowledge Nessie. She's like, okay, guys, let's go.
So she's currently right by the teleportation circle, just kind of stacking books on the shelves. The Dragonborn is following her. And as you're about to activate the circle, Nessie turns around and places a palm on the Dragonborn's chest, and you see this magical sort of boof hit him, and he stumbles back into the circle and teleports with you.
Do we all just fall out the other side?
Yeah, so you guys, he doesn't collide with you guys. He just kind of stumbles back into the circle.
Oh, I thought it would have been really funny for him to collide and we all just fucking fall forward when we get to basket, face plant.
Okay, we can do that, sure. So he runs into you guys and you kind of are thrown a bit off balance. And you teleport, and as you land at the other side, you all kind of collapse. I'm just going to quickly roll a thing.
Oh no, we're all dead. This is TPK.
Excellent. No, this is a Constitution one. So you all land on the other side. You're kind of landed in a pile, with the Dragonborn kind of atop you. He's not a great, massive, big, heavy Simon Dragonborn.
Yeah, but it still doesn't feel good to have someone knock into you.
Yeah. And he squashes you guys, and then Pip, sort of on the right, kind of goes green and then vomits onto the floor. And you see Nate walk by, and she looks at all of you and she goes, "Oh, first time, okay." And just the weight of the Dragonborn on top of him didn't help him kind of keep that down.
Oh my god.
He cleaned himself up, and once Dossier pushes his spectacles up his nose a little bit, he spots the pile of vomit. He goes, "Ah!" Then he snaps his fingers and waves his hand over it, and it just vanishes. And he stands up and dusts himself off and cleans himself up, straightens up his clothing.
Lazara just kind of groans and says, "Well, that's not the most unpleasant time I've had a Dragonborn on top of me."
Wait, can I roll insight? Because Faye was the one who's okay.
Everyone's just excuse me?
Do I know?
Oh my god.
You know what she means. You don't know. You don't know what kind of Dragonborn, you don't know when, you don't know where, but you know that it has happened.
Like, Faye just kind of looks at her like, holy shit.
Why would
Like-
you do that to yourself?
Like, she just gives her, like...
This gas.
Lazara just kind of eyes her back and says, "I'm not talking about it."
I mean, I wouldn't want to either. Okay. You learn something new every day.
So, you guys are in the guild, and
My back.
Nate is there, and she helps everyone get up to their feet.
Oh, and slowly, please, slowly.
He says, no, this is, that's the first time that's happened. She must have just accidentally let off a spell. That's, I'm sure it was just an accident.
It's just like, Betty, like, hear her grunt, like, it didn't, sure as hell didn't feel like an accident. Like, she rubs her back.
Let him believe that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Lazara leans into to Nate and she says, "Send him back for your own sanity."
Nate kind of like looks at you and then looks at him, and you seem kind of like already he's examining like the books on the shelves and like having a look at things, and like he sees one that has like a rune on the front of it, so he takes it out and starts flipping through the pages, and she's like, I don't know, he doesn't seem so bad.
Oh, you sweet summer child, you.
You might want to have a chat with Nessie about how unpleasant he is.
She says, "Oh, he drives Nessie mad."
Oh, absolutely.
What's his name? And she says, "Dacia, dear, come over here." And she brings him over to the circle that you guys are all clear of now. And like she's on the other side of the circle from him. And she has this book and she says, "You might be interested in this one." And he steps up over the circle to walk over to her, and she just pushes her hand over the circle and just activates it and sends it back.
It's just like a fucking game of like, like keep away, just like hot potato.
He says, "Unfortunately, that's my only use of that circle for the day, but there's somebody else here can do it, I'm sure, if you need to go back."
Lazara just shrugs and says, "I'm pretty sure it was worth it anyway."
I'm sure it was. Pip seems to have recovered himself a bit.
Faye just like goes over and just like pats him like on the back, but she doesn't like really hard, like how she would, like how siblings would normally react in this situation.
Yeah. He's like, "Oh, okay, well, teleporting might just not be my thing."
Yeah, you do realize you have to do this again later, right?
Yeah.
It's okay.
I can't like walk back and meet you guys. No, that would take too long. Okay. It's fine.
It's okay.
So, you head to the palace, the castle, the keep, whatever you want to call it. And as this happens, Diana, you and Clovis are having a discussion in front of the throne about just everything that's going on. It seems this morning the king has started taking another turn for the worse, as opposed to how he was like the last day or two, like feeling real good and real spry, and now he's just kind of like tanky again. Clovis is a little bummed, frustrated, about it, and Griselda's just kind of like trying to organize things. She's standing by you as she writes down on like a clipboard, like scratches down with her her pen various things that need to get done, and she's speaking like she's like speaking aloud like to herself as she does it. And you notice there are a lot of guards hanging about, just as there have been the last few days. And that's when you guys approach the front of the castle, the palace, and the guards immediately open the doors for you and let you all in. So once you're all inside, Pep kind of adjusts his clothing so that he's no longer like tucking his neck all the way in and keeping his arms like folded across his chest to hide himself from the cold. He makes himself a little more comfortable, looking about the room.
It's like, nice crib, man.
Yeah. He's you can see that he's very clearly admiring like the decor, the red coloring, the artwork on the walls, that kind of stuff. Yeah, he just follows you in and lets you guys sort of take the lead.
Desire's just gonna walk right on in.
Okay. So
yeah. Sorry, I was spacing out. They just wrong button.
Wrong lever. So
And,
Faye walks in as well. Mm-hmm.
And she says, "All right, we're here. No need to worry anymore."
And they all turn to face you. And Griselda's like, yes, the guests. And then you can see her kind of like squint a little and like count all of you. And then she says, "There's one more than there usually is."
Yeah,
don't worry, he's with us.
Yeah, that's my brother. He'll be on his best behavior. Don't worry.
he kind of like waves you up, like, "Oh, of course I will. I'm always on my best behavior."
Is that what you call it?
He's like, "Shut up." And you see Clovis kind of just like, mm-hmm. Okay.
Fuck.
And he approaches the group, and Griselda kind of hangs back. But the two of you approach the group, and Clovis says, "So, I heard there's something about a dragon."
Please explain.
So,
another dragon?
So
Faye points at Lazar. It's her idea.
So I don't know if I've ever told you this, Clovis, but I'm a warlock for a dragon and a copper dragon, and he seemed to know quite a bit about Winter Pierce, and well, Winter Pierce came here from the west, I think it was.
Yes, it was the west.
Okay. Winter Pierce came here from the west, and apparently he's been followed here by both my patron and a green dragon. I know there's a green dragon in the Greenwood, and, well, I think it might be possible if this dragon has bad blood with Winter Pierce that we could potentially make it an ally. So anything that'll tip the scales in our favor is a good idea as far as I'm concerned.
How do we know that's the case, though?
No, what's the case?
The green dragon wanting to help.
Well, from what I can tell, my patron seems to think that there might be some that the green dragon might be willing to help us if it involves getting Terranax. I obviously don't know that for certain, but it's the only lead I have right now.
Okay, so what do we know about this green dragon?
Well, we know that we know that Winterpierce and this green dragon were mates at some point.
Right.
In fact, we know that this green dragon is probably why Winterpierce is so smart. And it seems as though Winterpierce just up and left her one day.
It would be nice to meet this dragon patron of yours. Could have some information that I would find very valuable. It would be interesting to have a conversation with a dragon like that. But so you're all going to see this green dragon?
Yep.
She could be more cunning and conniving than Winterpierce is. You guys know that?
Well, yeah, that's my patron told me the same thing, but I don't know if I actually mentioned that to anybody else.
No, this is the first time you told us.
Her face just like, what the fuck?
Like, first of all, we're going like near a place that she's not really supposed to be, and now you're telling us that wow, this dragon may be more dangerous than Winterpierce. Thanks. A little info would have been nice.
They are bigger, too, aren't they?
They're what?
The green ones. Because I read somewhere at some point that the white dragons are the smallest of the dragons.
Yeah.
So there you go. It's also bigger.
That pang that like Diana was feeling yesterday is now like going into pain, like
Pip arcs up and he says, "Don't worry, you've got me with you. You guys will be fine."
Lazara just kind of ignores him and says, "I do have a plan. I honestly don't know how well it's going to work, but I do have a plan."
A plan. Okay.
And Lazara just kind of turns to Gunther and Faye, and she says, "Have I ever told either of you where Winterpierce is?"
Have you? I don't believe you did.
Lazara says, "Good," and then she turns back to Di and Clovis and says, "If I'm right, and this green dragon is here because she feels betrayed by Winterpierce, she may want to help us just to get back at him. And well, since I know where Winterpierce is now, I may have a bargaining chip or two against her to convince her to help us, because even my patron didn't know exactly where he was, so I feel like she might not either."
Interesting. Well, maybe he has some sort of magic blocking people from scrying or trying to find him. I suppose that does make a lot of sense. And then Pip says, like, I mean, if I'm sure we can persuade this dragon to be friends with us, and it helps them, it helps us, and well, we'll just have a nice friendly talk. And if that doesn't work out, then we can I don't know. I'll fight this dragon. I'll protect you all. And Clovis just kind of smiles at him.
Do you know anything? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Clovis smiles at him and he says, "You can't take on a green dragon, especially not one that old." And Pip says, "I can take on a green dragon."
Oh my god.
Pip, do you know anything about chromatic dragons?
He says, "Well, I
mean, it is by the Green Woods. How long, you would think that if it's been there for a while."
I know that they're poisonous, but I also know that they bleed, and so we can kill it.
Oh my god.
Even I, an all-powerful wizard,
feel
would be
him.
able to.
Faye just when Gunther says that, Faye just jabs him in the ribs, and then she just smacks Pip, and then she smacks Pip on the back of the head, please, just stop, both of you. That's enough.
Clovis says, I admire the confidence, but you can't. You can't. And Pip is just I think I can. I'm kind of a big deal.
Faye just before he can finish, she covers his mouth that's enough. Just shh.
Lazara turns back. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say he's peeling away Faye's hand, and he's just the Sigil Shield Guild. I know them.
She's still trying to cover his mouth.
And Clovis is you can't. I'd wager that you can barely handle me, let alone a dragon. And
oh my god!
I want to see this.
And immediately, Pip has this just fire in him.
Oh my god!
Lazara has gone from stone cold serious to almost laughing.
Oh my god!
You can see Griselda in the back has stopped writing, and she's just watching.
A noodle duel.
Pip's just a noodle duel. Pip's just well, fight me then. You won't. And then Clovis is you're okay. So you're challenging me to a duel, is it? And
stop.
Pip's just if you duel this Prince talk, this guy. He's yeah, sure, I'll do it.
He's dead.
And Clovis is just smiling, and he turns to one of the guards and he goes, "Go fetch the rapiers for me." And one of the guard is just salutes, and he rushes off toward the armory. And when he comes back, he has these two rapiers. They are metal weapons, but they have a ball point on the end. So they're not just gonna skewer each other. Hands one to Clovis, hands one to Pip. And Pip and Clovis step over to the wooden floor so that they aren't going to trip on the carpet.
Lazara just kind of puts her hand to her mouth and says to Pip, hey, remember our sparring. And then she leans into Die and says, he's doomed.
Remember our training. I prepared you for this.
Dan's just I don't know what's happening right now.
Faye's just looking at this not again. Please. Why are you like this?
Wait, is this
wouldn't be the first. Oh yeah, no. He would do this so much back at home. So much. It was so much. Just the stress in her voice, God, you don't realize how many times I had to break up fights between him. You don't even know. You don't even know. God damn it.
Okay. So, Pip holds his rapier and Clovis holds his. Clovis immediately puts like one hand on his hip, turns slightly to the side, and holds the point of the rapier out toward Clovis, toward Pip.
Clovis points the sword towards Clovis.
Yes. Points it on himself. Like, ha! A handicap.
He fights with the pommel.
It's not you that's got me. It's me that's got me.
Reverse psychology.
He sort of takes up a stance that he's ready with, and Pip takes up his much like the current stance of his mini, and Pip charges in first. Has 2 good swings at Clovis. You hear the sort of woof, woof, the rapier like cutting through the air. Clovis like pushes his chest back and then pulls his head back as they just catch air. Clovis then just like thrusts forward and tags Pip in the chest with the point of the sword. And Griselda steps forward. And he says, 1 point to the prince.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
It barely started and she's already done with it.
And she says, first to 3 is the winner. Clovis then like prepares to like ready his stance again as though they're starting another round, but Pip doesn't stop. He just like jumps in again like he doesn't know the rules. So he just keeps fighting, and he kind of catches like Clovis off guard, and Clovis manages to parry one of Pip's like swings at him, but then Pip gets another one in and just gets him right in the gut, and has a big old prideful smile on his face.
Oh god.
Griselda says, well, tied for 1 for the prince, 1 for the elf. Pip has a big prideful grin.
He just calls out, "Don't get cocky. That's how you lose."
He goes at him again. It's much the same sort of pattern. Like he's doing a lot of like swings and wild jabs at Clovis. So he really like projects like with his body like what his next move is going to be. So it gives Clovis enough time to react. And the next one, Clovis lands he just like thrusts the sword forward and it just kind of bunks on the top of his of Pip's forehead. And Clovis smiles. And Griselda says, "Oh, that's 1 more to the prince. That's 2 to 1." And they have a break for a second, and then they jump back in. And almost immediately, Pip gets another shot in on Clovis. Clovis tries to parry it away, but it catches him right in the shoulder. Even Clovis is surprised. Pip is a little bit too, but he plays it off as though it was completely on purpose. And I knew you'd try and parry, so I moved it this way.
Oh my god!
So it's 2-2, and Griselda announces match point. And this time it's a lot more closely matched. Like there's a lot of like clanging of blades and like a lot of steps forward and steps back as they go back and forth for a little while. Each of them trying to like make a maneuver to outsmart the other while trying their best not to get caught out. And finally, Clovis does land 1 more hit on Pip, right in the middle of his chest after Pip like takes 1 sort of back swing at him and leaves his chest exposed, and Clovis just jumps in and makes his contact. And Griselda says, well, match over. Winner is the prince. And Clovis like bows his head to Pip, and Pip's just kind of like, whatever, man. He hands him back the rapier. He's not like a super jerk about it. He's not going to throw it on the floor or anything. But he hands back the rapier and he says, "If it was a real fight, I'd win. You know, stupid stick weapons.
Lazira brings the party around her and she says, I don't think I told you guys, but me and Pip sparred, and he struggled to land a hit on me while I was using my offhand.
Well, he's using a sword he's not used to.
There is a lot of that. Like he kind of like you could tell like he was more swinging it like a short sword more so than using it like a jabbing rapier.
He doesn't strike me as a rapier kind of guy.
Yeah.
No, not really. When he gets a sword that he's actually quite good at, he's actually pretty decent.
And he put up a decent, like, considering it was a sword that he wasn't quite gifted with, he put up a decent fight. It was a pretty close one. And Clovis hands the swords off to a guard who then takes them and steps back, bows his head, and hurries off to the armory to put them away. And Clovis says, oh, well, maybe you'll be okay. But just, just try not to get in a fight with the dragon still. Like, it's not, I don't...
Lazara just sighs and says, we're not fighting the dragon. And she says, Eris provided me with something that we can use to just get the hell out of there if it looks like issues with the dragon are gonna come up.
Oh, good. It's always good to have a backup plan.
Hi, Oscar. Sorry, big round boy came to see me. Hi.
Griselda kind of makes her way back up to her position up here by the throne to continue doing her paperwork.
Like, okay, we're done? Good.
Yeah. So just like, are you guys finished? Okay, back to work. Like, being children playing around. Come on. You see Clovis kind of place a hand on Pip's shoulder and like lean in and whisper something to him. And then when he leans back, he smiles, pats him on the shoulder a couple times, and walks away. And
what's
Pip
better than this? Just guys being dudes.
What did he say though? Can I roll?
Maybe you guys are. I mean, you're like 15 feet away. You're pretty close. There's no like wind or anything catching you out, so maybe you'll be able to hear it. Roll
So
perception. We'll see who hears.
No! Wrong side.
I have ears
Tommy,
everywhere.
Diana. The two people that matters, the one that, like the boyfriend and the brother. Like, god damn it.
Two people furthest away can hear it better.
I know, this is ridiculous. What the fuck?
You had, I assume you had lint in your ears?
Yeah, it's just, there's a bit of snow from walking through the cold, that kind of thing. But he, Jeffrey and Lazira, Jeffrey, you could tell that it was, you couldn't exactly hear all the words, but you got the gist, and it was kind of just like, thank you for that. I really needed to let off some steam. I've been really stressed, and that really helped me out. And Pip kind of just like nods, and he's like, "Oh, okay, well, fair enough." So he then kind of comes back to the rest of the group here, and Pip comes and joins as well. And he says, "So, what were we talking about? Oh yes, this green dragon. Are you all quite confident with how you're going to progress with this then?"
I mean, Lazira just says she has a plan. I don't know what's going on. So personally, I'm not confident.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would suggest something to resist poisons might be of use.
Oh yeah, don't worry, we got that. No, we don't have it now, but we are
No.
going to have that.
We'll
Okay,
get-
I was like, excuse you, since when?
I should have worded that better.
we'll do some shopping before we go. That's for sure.
Just fucking Lazara's like, yeah, we have it. We get there. It's like, no, we don't. We're all dead.
We'll make sure we do some
Don't
shopping.
Don't worry, we got it. Jesus H Christ.
Right. Yes, of course. So, when do you plan on making a move on the Greenwood?
I want to do that tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll be able to be plenty ready by tomorrow morning.
Very well. If you need these poison resistance potions, I can put together a writ for you, and you can present that to Merton, and he can hand them to you free of charge, paid for by the crown.
That'd be great.
Sounds
Excellent.
good.
And as she just kind of glances over and she says, "Okay, look, I really don't think we should take that. No offense, Pip."
Well, Faye just kind of, okay, go ahead, Nick.
I was just gonna say, like he just kind of like like waves a hand, like I'm fine. That's
Well-
stupid.
Well, no, the reason why I suggested Pip in the first place is that, well, it's near my home, and again, they aren't very keen to outsiders, and if we have Pip, someone who used to be a resident there, who usually, someone who frequents it, and we have, his word, we're gonna have less trouble. Maybe you shouldn't come in when we speak with the dragon, but I would feel a little more comfortable if he was with us when we're in the Greenwood. No offense.
He kind of shrugs and he says, "Well, I can be your guide through the woods, and then I can just wait outside, I guess, if you're gonna find the dragon."
Lazara just kind of looks over at Pip and she says, "How unwelcoming are they of outsiders that are elves?"
Not as unwelcoming. I mean, they do run you through the gauntlet of questions, like where are you from, and do you have business here? Like it's but they're generally pretty okay with elves and half elves. Even some humans, they're like, all right, well, you can visit for a time and then you can leave. But it's more like, well, other, like, and he kind of glances over at Diana and he's like, other, races, they're kind of a bit, yeah.
Spell it out, Pip. We all know what you're talking about.
They're just unwelcoming of folks that they.
They're racist. They just like interrupts.
Well,
She has like her hands like tightly crossed on her chest. They are racist.
He's like, well, I mean, like not all of them. Like Granny's okay, but there are others.
Yeah,
like most of the others are. Yeah, no, they're kind of racist.
Yeah, no, they're very racist, especially
Yeah.
you know who.
Mm. Well, anyway, that's the situation there. But I can guide you through the woods. Yes.
Lazara just kind of turns away and crosses her arms and says, "All right, but you are not to follow us into the cave."
Okay, fine.
And she says, I know you're pretty confident in your abilities, but I don't think you are ready for what's going to be in that cave."
But we just saw Clovis kick your ass.
That's saying a lot.
Oh man. So he says, "Well, yeah, okay. I'll just hang out outside and make sure you don't get flanked, and someone doesn't sneak in behind you guys. I'll watch your back."
It's a very important job.
It is. That's what he's doing. He's trying to talk it up as like a really important task he's been given, and he hasn't just been told to sit outside and wait for the adults to be finished.
He's like a child.
Yeah, wait for the grown-ups to finish talking, and then we can go to get your juice.
Give him an ice cream.
Yeah.
Just.
Lazira turns to Faye and she says, "Leave a little bit of your magic open, because if we have to teleport out of there, we're going to have to send Pip something telling him that we're okay."
And that he needs to get the fuck out.
Yeah, run.
Get the fuck out. But yeah, I just out of character. Just give me a moment so I can kind of work on a preset that still has sending, but maybe some other stuff that may help us just in case something happens. Just saying.
You can just change one spell.
We're gonna have a break before then, so
yeah,
so we can get some food. But
yeah, no worries.
During that break, you'll be able to. Yeah.
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 Since that's been decided, Diana's going to ask about the other things. So the ingredients.
Yes, about that.
Oh yeah.
I have the diamond.
Awesome.
All we need is a piece of soul. And we have a piece of dragon, of chromatic dragon.
We have several pieces of dragons.
Yeah, we have many of those.
we have a lot.
Yes, well, I mean, we have what we need for that. All we need, I think, is a piece of soul. What else do we need?
I think that was about it. We have the dragon, we have the gem, and we need the soul. That's it.
Yep.
Well,
so, also learn the process to transfer part of someone's soul in there.
Right.
Which we didn't know before.
It's kind of a ritual that you can do.
Yeah, it's a ritual. You spend you need to focus on gem for some time to transfer a part of your soul. It's like some kind of attunement. That's what you told me, Nick, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Well, I'm sure while you guys are out figuring out this whole dragon situation, we can work something out.
It's also recommended when we try that, if we try that. Actually, we don't even know who would do that.
Well, no, but I think what you were trying to explain was if let me see if I remember. It's better to do it when there's people around.
Yeah, it's better to have at least one person with you, or with the person who decides to do it.
Indeed, to make sure you don't just go plunk.
Yeah, so that you don't transfer their whole soul by accident and die.
Yep.
Okay, noted.
Oh, Di, there was a favor I wanted to ask you. And she takes out the ingredients for the greater healing potion and says, "Is it possible that you could use these to make some potions by tomorrow morning?"
Can you repeat that? It's cutting out for me a little bit.
Oh, hang on, sorry.
I can hear you just fine.
Yeah, you're fine. It's on my end.
Oh.
Okay. So she takes out the ingredients for the greater healing potion and she says, I wanted to ask you a favor. If you could make some greater healing potions out of these by tomorrow morning.
Looks like Chris's connection is just cutting out on her. But
That's so unfair. Why is yours fine?
I don't know.
It's like me last week, where it was just like everyone could hear me, but like I could not hear anyone. I was like, the fuck,
Well, it's the
why?
same fucking internet.
Yeah, it's really strange. But he was just asking if you could like brew the potions with the ingredients he has.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Is there somewhere I can go set up for that?
Yeah, there's Clovis takes you to one of the spare guest rooms that they have there, and he says you can set up in here.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Well, he points out the guest room. He doesn't actually take you there.
Yeah.
Because that'd be kind of awkward. But yeah. All right.
Okay, and Lazara hands her the ingredients.
All right. So enough ingredients for 4, 5, 6.
Six. Yes.
Good.
Cool beans. So, would you like to start working on those now or later?
What else is happening right now with everyone else?
Yeah, what is everyone else doing?
Everyone else?
What time is it right now?
It's still morning.
Pretty early. You guys just left first thing.
Okay, so in that case, Lazara is going to use this opportunity to go get the poison resist potions.
Okay.
And she turns to Pip and says, "Want to go with?"
He's like, sure, yeah. He turns toward Faye. He's like, do you need us to get you anything else while we're out at the shop?
Not necessarily.
He turns toward Clovis, and Clovis just shakes his head like, no, we're good. We're in the Royal Palace. We have everything, don't worry. And he says, yeah, okay. Let's go.
Sweet.
All right. So the two of you head out toward the cold Vasca streets. And is there anything you wanted to do before you leave, Lazara, or?
Oh, no.
Okay. So you guys head out on the town and head to Merton's shop. I'm assuming you waited around until Clovis gave you like the writ that he was talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It just leaves and just all like,
I can give you a piece of paper that'll tell them to give it to you for free. Oh, okay, well, thanks, bye. Hello?
yeah, sorry, I wasn't thinking.
No, it's totally cool. But yeah, so you guys head over to Merton's shop. And you head inside. And as you do, you notice the decor has changed slightly. Like, it's not just potions, plants, and brewing kits. There's also like a couple of animal pelts and things like that hanging up. And as you walk in, you can see he's at the back of the place alongside Tuazar, who's there with like both of them have like a little face mask on to prevent from inhaling like fumes and stuff. And he's sort of, you can see him sort of trying to teach her how to like properly grind up an ingredient in a pestle and mortar, which like you can see like he would have to hold the bowl in his palm and like hold the other thing with his full hand and like grind into it. And she's just kind of like holding it with like the tips of her fingers. Anyway, they turn to see you, and both of them give a muffled sort of like, hey, but it's like behind the mask, so it's like, oh.
That's beautiful, and I love him.
Lazara just kind of grins, and she says to Tuazar, so, I wonder who's watching the guild right now.
She waves a hand, and she's like, oh, I've got someone on that, don't you worry. Someone who's been showing up a lot lately and putting in a lot of work, and I'm just letting them sort of run it for the day while I do this.
I'll have to stop. I'll have to stop by and meet them.
Oh yeah, not very talkative, but they're all right.
Lazira briefly introduces them to Pip.
Mm-hmm. Pip kind of like just nods at them, and they give him the same sort of nod back. And Merton approaches and he takes his mask off and he says, "So, what can I help you with?"
Lazara takes out the writ and hands it to Merton and says, "Yeah, Clovis said I should stop by here and pick up a couple potions."
Okay, well, I have. What potions do you need exactly?
Anything you got that can help 3 people resist poisons.
Oh, I have 3 made up at the moment that will last an hour after they're consumed. But if you want any more than that, I'll have to spend some time producing more.
So, based on the dragon dens that I've been in so far, would an hour last long enough for what I'm so far expecting out of it?
Well, different dragons have different kind of dens. I'll get you to roll a nature check for me.
All right.
So you would know that the lair that the black dragon had, Lyrisian had a ruined castle, like a keep, and that's kind of where black dragons reside, is like ruins, and where there was once civilization that's been crushed is what they thrive in. Whereas a blue dragon, typically their lair would be a sort of a desert kind of environment. A green dragon would most likely be a cave or something like that in the woods. So, and it probably wouldn't be a super deep cave either. So you reckon that an hour would be long enough for a green dragon?
Okay, so about the length of, say, Dildreneth or Terranax's caves?
Probably not even. Probably more like Terranax's, not so much Dildreneth's.
Okay, yeah. So she says, yeah, 3 will be enough.
He says, "Well, excellent. I had 4, but then someone from the scabbard came in and collected one for one of their jobs." And Tuazar just kind of waves a hand and said, well, they're going to need it. They'll be fine. Evil, poisonous ocean centipede things. Big ones. So they kind of needed the potion. It's only fair. So he said, well, here's the 3 that you need. I'm not going to ask any more questions about that because it terrifies me. So
evil poisonous ocean centipede thing?
He says, yeah, a couple of them attacked a ship recently, and it's just, fighting on the water isn't really my thing. I like to have my feet firmly planted on the ground, so fighting
if you had told me, I would have dealt with it.
Oh, I'm sure you would have, but it seems like you already got your hands full.
What's another big poisonous monster?
She smiles and laughs, and she's like, I like your spirit. And we've got a couple people on that. They're fine.
And with that, Lazara's going to take her leave and head back to the castle.
Okay. So while you guys are gone...
Yeah, I guess since people just started doing things, Diana is going to go and start working on those potions.
Okay.
She's going to read up a little bit up in the, again, go over the
recipe.
The recipe, because she hasn't done this in a while.
Yep, okay. You can roll your apothecary check.
That would be 6 times?
Yes.
Yeesh.
Oh boy.
Okay. So one of them
Even
is
a nat 1 is a 12.
yeah. One of them kind of gets a bit botched. Like the first lot, you make a healing potion. The second lot, unfortunately, the ingredients used were a little dried out, and they weren't exactly what you needed, and it just kind of trying to work with it made it a little more difficult, and it didn't quite work out. However, in your final batch, you had kind of enough left over. As you use the rest after that a little more sparingly, you had enough left over in the end to make 2 more, so you do end up with 6 at the end.
Nice.
Sweet.
I should say in the last one you made 2 instead of 1.
What is everyone else doing? Is everyone hanging out with Diana while she does the thing?
I mean, I could if you want.
I'm just wondering what you guys are up to.
I don't think I had anything going on.
Okay. I might have an idea of what I'm gonna do. So, Jeffrey pretty much just like... Oh,
Jeffrey.
yes, I'm calling him Jeffrey now, so deal with it.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
I feel like he's gonna mention it at some point in front of people who've met him before, and they're gonna be like,
Who?
It's Jeffrey now, like the fuck? Like, no.
Going by his real name, what the hell? But yeah, Jeffrey kind of just like kind of pokes Faye and says something like,
Oh, don't.
Okay, just taps
Yes?
her on the shoulder then.
Yeah.
Anyway, he says, so, you know about your disguise and everything. Well, good that you
Yeah.
have that, but that's not enough. You'll need a fake name too. And I can help with that. Also, a
You make
fake
it sound like
background
we're
would
running from
help.
the law. You make this really sound like we're running from the law. I am okay.
We're not. We're just making sure you don't get found out, and if somehow we get found out, well, you have a good excuse for a fake origin story.
is the prince just there like...
he's kind of like looking at the two of you, and he's just kind of eyeing Jeffrey a bit suspiciously, and he says, well, I suppose that could be useful. Where, pray tell, would you know that? Where would you have learned that this is a thing that you should do?
Well,
Yeah.
I might as well be honest with you about that, since well,
I'm gonna be quite honest with you.
I'm gonna be quite honest with you indeed. Well, Gunther is not really my name. It's not my real name.
Well, that's probably for the best.
Ouch.
You're not the first one to mention it.
Roll fire damage.
Well, you're not the first one to tell me something like that, so... Yeah, I mean... After resolving some things, I figured I might as well go with my real name, so you can refer to me as Jeffrey.
Okay, that's much more normal. Nice to meet you properly, Jeffrey.
I like how everyone's more okay with Jeffrey than Gunther.
What? But it's because it's Jeffrey, but written fancy with a G-E-O.
And then you got the party still calling him Gunther.
Jeff.
Jeff.
But Faye kind of thinks for a bit, and she's like, I mean, they probably would be smart. I mean, yeah, disguise is good and all, and I did ask Eris to see if she can mask my voice, but, you know, like, what if, you know, the worst case scenario happens and they start asking me questions? I probably would be beneficial
Yeah.
to have, you know, something lined up.
So if you give me some time, I could think of something by tomorrow morning.
All right, sounds good.
Okay.
I'll let you know, well, before we set out.
Gunther's writing fanfics of the party with just different names.
It took me a while to figure out what you were doing, but I get what you're doing. I know you have the background feature, right?
Wait, what?
Don't you have a background feature from like your background that like lets you do this identity swapping thing?
No.
Or is it a rogue thing?
It's just me.
Actually,
I
never
never thought about. I never thought about
That's
game
an assassin
mechanics.
Is it an assassin thing?
So
Yeah, that's an assassin thing.
Sarah would be more qualified for this. Imagine if Faye was like, so my new name is Carol. I have 2 children. I have to drive them to football practice.
Just like has the whole soccer mom thing going on. Has that weird
I didn't even know there was a feature for that.
Yeah, there's a feature that's like you're really good at like coming up with like a fake identity and all that kind of shit.
I think it is. Let me look at it again.
It's funny because I already wrote something in my notes.
Yeah, I do remember seeing that somewhere.
Yeah,
have you been planning this?
I just can't quite remember where.
Yes, I have.
Oh my goodness.
I've been playing this for a few days.
Okay, starting 9th level, you can unfailingly create false identities for yourself, but it only works on yourself.
Ah, okay.
You must spend 7 days and 25
other people. Because it's like you properly like root a life for yourself. Like you
it's
talk
like
to
some
people
supernatural shit, you know. Like,
it's not just like magical ability. It's more like
you're able to put these things together, like, you know, forge documents and like
like there's documents and there's like a whole backstory and you introduce yourself to townspeople for a while. Like it takes you a little while, but you like properly root yourself in this town as like this person that isn't real.
Yeah, that one's basically just a false identity for like one time, for like a short time. It's not a long-term thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, you guys
Jeffrey just did his best to go with a false identity and it didn't work out well.
Jesus. Is this really the person that I should be putting my life into their hands into?
It's okay, you don't know that. Faye doesn't know that.
Yeah, I feel like we're like, I mean, Gunther tried it himself. It didn't really go super well. Remember that time we unmasked him? It was great.
So you guys spend your time organizing this. And for a few hours in the afternoon, once Lazira and Pip return to the palace, what would you guys like to do?
Lazira's going to go ahead and hand 2 of the potions to Gunther and Faye.
Alright.
Oh, good.
Add this into my inventory. I don't know why I'm singing this.
Because you can. And there's nothing
Because I
wrong
can.
with that.
No one can stop me.
Yeah, being an adult.
Anyway, I guess Diana's off doing like the thing in like which are one of these rooms?
Yeah, just one of the side rooms there. Yeah, there you go.
Oh wait, I just added the greater healing potion. Well, I'm probably gonna get those anyways. I forgot. Okay, hold on. I just realized that the potion that Lazara gave us was the potion for poison resistance. But I'm sorry, my brain is just not all there today. Potion of...
But yeah, so a poison resistance potion for each of you, and also Diana is working on the potions, so up to you how you like when you're ready to distribute them. It should be like in
I imagine it takes a few hours of doing those, so
yeah. Considering you're making 6 like batches of potions, like it'll take a little while.
Yeah, because I remember last time I did something like this where I made a bunch of them. It took like part of the afternoon.
Yeah.
But that's nice. Her booey's hanging out with her. It's cute.
Yeah. He's just kind of hanging back and watching. Yeah, he's just kind of watching and seeing how you do it and taking note of the difference between like your brewing and Merton's, the order you take for things. Yeah, so you guys are hanging out doing your thing for a few hours.
Lazara's gonna ask Gunther something. and she says, I don't know exactly what all spells that a green dragon is capable of casting, but just in case she's able to read minds, could I borrow your ring of mind shielding while we talk to her?
I don't know about that.
Yep.
I have to think about it, but no.
Oh no!
So,
I'll need to think about it.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Lazara just kind of gives him a look and says, "Okay."
So think about it now.
Think now. Think faster.
I'll come
That's
back to
fine.
you on that
So-
later.
Okay. So, right. So you guys spend some time here. Diana, you finish brewing the potions after some hours.
Yes.
And once you're done, you can distribute them amongst the rest of the party.
I'm just gonna hand them to Lasara because she's the one
Who knows
doing
who
the...
needs what?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So
Okay.
Diana comes out and gives you 6 greater healing potions.
Okay, and she's gonna give 2 to Faye. That brings her up to 5, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And you drink them all immediately. The end.
Just like inhale, like oh god.
That's like
now
fuck
I
you, I'm not
have
making more.
extra. Now I have extra HP.
Yes. So you guys have all them Healy boys, and you have your poison resistance.
Yep.
And you're pretty much ready spaghetti. And Clovis says, "Well, just be very cautious of the green dragons. They have sort of a reputation for manipulating people into doing their bidding and making deals with them that really don't benefit you in the slightest, but you don't know that until it's too late. So
We really don't want to end up having to kill 2 ancient dragons instead.
that'd just be terrible. Let's just one at a time. Baby steps. Baby steps.
Okay, if I could kill that dragon, I would. Just letting you know.
Yeah, I agree.
She said that she got almost killed by the black dragon last time.
Yeah. You take 85 points of damage. Like,
I can handle myself, almost.
Passes out immediately after the battle's over.
oh, amazing. So, you guys are essentially ready to go. And it's at this point that I would like to have a little break so we can have some food.
Sounds good.
All right.
I'm gonna stop the recording.